Israel keeps pressure on Gaza as Qatar confirms truce talks. Good evening, I am Destiny Momo. This is News Now. Ondo State's acting governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has frozen the accounts of 18 local government areas and 33 local council development areas. Aiyedatiwa, who became acting governor after Governor Rotimi Akeredolu's medical treatment abroad, instructed the newly created LCDAs not to open new accounts. Aiyedatiwa's Deputy Chief of Staff, Omojuwa Olusegun, will be responsible for preparing and signing his official engagements for the time being. The Chief of Protocol will take over this responsibility once the governor returns from his medical vacation. And presidential aspirants of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, in the lead-up to the 2023 presidential election have agreed to float a forum to mobilize support for President Bola Tinubu as part of measures to tackle the challenges confronting the nation. They have consequently dropped any presidential ambition ahead of 2027. And some of the APC presidential aspirants in the last election are former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Ahmed Sani Yerima, Chief Rotimi Amechi, Dr. Nicholas Felix, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, amongst others. And more than 1 month after the November 11 governorship election, concerned members of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Bayelsa State on Friday said the national leadership of the party abandoned its candidate and former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, at a time he needed them most. According to him, the Bayelsa State chapter of the APC has been used as a sacrificial lamb to satisfy some vested interests without any consideration for its teaming members and supporters who have worked assiduously and at great cost for its victory.
I can only say that the APC won the Bayelsa State elections because you could, we are very much aware that some results were cancelled, and those results were cancelled about 84,000 votes as compared to the results that declared the governor winner in that election. And if those results were not cancelled, I don't think they will have won the elections. And that's one of the issues that were raised, the controversies surrounding the cancellation of those results. And I think that's one of the challenges or one of the issues that will be addressed appropriately. Yeah, like I said earlier, no doubt there have been 1 or 2 persons that may have had their own personal issues. They may have been some contributory factors to the issues that are surrounding the elections. They may also not have been. But that's one of the reasons why we came to see the National Working Committee to ensure that they look critically on these issues and see how we can have a united front going forward.
Honorable Sejos Ogun, a former House of Representatives member, has joined the Labour Party's Edo State governorship race. He believes in the common man and will prioritize food security and healthcare if elected. Ogun represented Esan Northeast South in the 8th and 9th National Assembly and has announced his intention to run as the Labour Party Secretariat in Benin City.
Ordinary people, the ordinary Nigerians, the commoners, the downtrodden of this country, they are the people we fight for in this party, and they are the people we must liberate. We don't have anything against the rich, we don't have anything against the elite. But we are saying those below them must be allowed to breathe. And Labour government in Osadebe Avenue will liberate them in this state. We don't have any problem with somebody sending the children abroad to school. If you're a rich man and you're in the private sector and you are paying your tax, we don't have any problem with that. If you are in the private sector and you are a rich man, you pay your tax, we don't have any problem with you going overseas to do medical checkup. But you cannot be in government and use government resources to do that.
Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has inaugurated a Nutrition Core Working Committee, NCWC, to tackle acute malnutrition. The committee, dubbed the Intellectual Powerhouse, will work with the National Committee on Food and Nutrition to combat hunger and malnutrition. Shettima emphasized the need for coordination and collaboration with the NCFN. The committee's mandate extends beyond healthcare, encompassing education and the socio-economic impact of malnutrition. A concerned group under the auspices of Kaduna State Patriots and Good Governance Forum has called on the citizens of Kaduna State and Nigerians not to politicize and take advantage of unfortunate Tudumbiri bomb attack incident, but find ways to support the victims rather than seeking parochial gains.
We want to urge lawyers and politicians to refrain from politicizing the situation. It is critical that we maintain a united front and work towards resolving these challenges collectively rather than exploiting them for personal or political gain. They should also be wary of taking briefs from urban jobbers who don't have a direct connection with the victims they claim to be fighting for. Those genuinely working for the peace and unity of the state will always see injury to one person as injury to all, not resort to us over them kind of approach. We are optimistic that the dark days of division in our state along ethnic or religious line is over. The effort of the governor to engage all relevant stakeholders in the state through citizen engagement has put an end to the business of the capturers.
The forum commended federal and state government timely efforts of prioritizing medical bills and rebuilding of their affected community, while calling on all Nigerians to support government in providing relief and assistance to those affected victims.
Nobody is happy with what happened at Tudumbiri. Nobody is celebrating it. No responsible government would fold its arms and see such things happen and will not do anything. And the government is already doing everything possible. I think as people, as patriotic Nigerians, what we need to do is to pray and assist the government and advise them constructively, not try to destroy all the effort that is ongoing. We are saying that whoever try to foment trouble, first and foremost, Nigerians needed to watch out for such kind of people, because they are not doing what they are doing in the best interest of the Tudumbiri community. They are trying to do what they are doing or trying to do for their own selfish interests. Nigerians should watch out for them. Nigerians should monitor them. Nigerians should see to their activities, and Nigerians should caution them. And we are also calling on the federal government to strictly watch every step such people are taking.
Meanwhile, the coalition of civil society groups has decried what it termed as attempted blackmail and extortion against the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, and other government entities over allegations of 48 million barrels missing crude oil. At a press briefing held in Lagos, the co-convener of the group, Declan Ihekere, vehemently condemned the allegations being purported by George Ubo, describing it as serial blackmail. According to Ihekere, the group's concern stemmed from recent allegations raised by Ubo following a resolution by the House of Representatives in December 2022 to probe the purported missing 48 million barrels of crude oil purportedly sold in China by certain Nigerian officials. While acknowledging their stance against corruption within public and private institutions, Ihekere emphasized the necessity of addressing such concerns through proper legal channels rather than resorting to blackmail or extortion.
We're here to say fighting corruption must be done rightly, not through blackmail. However, the appropriate channels for addressing such concerns are through established legal process, not through coercion, blackmail, or extortion. The coalition of civil society groups firmly believes in the principles of due process and the rule of law. every citizen, regardless of their status or affiliation, is entitled to a fair and just legal proceeding. Mr. Obo's action, on the other hand, represents a blatant disregard for these principles and pose a threat to the stability and credibility of our legal system. It's essential for all citizens to trust and have confidence in our legal institutions. By attempting to subvert due process through blackmail and extortion, Mr. Obo undermines the very foundations of justice that our society relies on.
Where you have petitioned the National Assembly and they have worked, investigate, and come up with the fact that this person has no case to answer, I don't see any reason why you want to push further. It shows clearly there's an interior motive for that person that is doing this thing and why he's doing it. And that is why we are here to say, look, we are not in support of anybody blackmailing, or when you don't have enough evidence to come up with what you are claiming, then you should go and rest. And that's our own position.
We need to be conscious and circumspect of one fact, that somebody that have the notoriety to blackmail, serially, and somebody that has been confirmed as an ex-convict, who is still, going around, blackmailing. I think by now, the DSS, and the local enforcement agents, should have, swing into action and make sure, this man, is put behind bars.
He who asserts must prove. And if there are processes in court, which is legal, which is normal, I think we should allow that thing to slide away before any further action. Anybody who does that, who does contrary, remains a suspect, and he has ulterior motive. And that's why we're saying that as progressive elements and as Nigerians who are patriotic about this country, whatever we do must be in line with the laid down rules, regulation, and law of the land.
And Governor Babagana Zulum presented a budget of 340.6 billion naira for 2024 to the State House of Assembly in Maiduguri, Borno State. The budget includes 198.2 billion naira in capital expenditure and 142.3 billion naira in expenditure, financed by recurrent revenue of 206.8 billion naira and capital receipts of 128.8 billion naira. Zulum plans to deliver 46 projects, including teacher recruitment, housing estate construction, infrastructure, hospitals, and worker gratuities settlements.
Electrification of water, Jikwa, Damasangande, Askira, Chibok, and Damwa. We'll start in earnest. And inshallah, before the completion of my channel, I'll make sure that all local government areas in Borno State will be connected to the national grid. Procurement and equipment worth 10 billion naira to the State University Teaching Hospital and completion. The State Teaching Hospital has a carrying capacity of 650 patients. Very difficult for somebody to get a new hospital that will have a carrying capacity at the beginning of 650. Provision of scholarships with 600 indigenous people to study nursing and midwifery courses. Sponsorship of 100 students in various fields of study, especially science, technology, engineering, and mathematics courses, languages, and training of 20 people. Stakeholders.
The Minister of the Environment, Mr. Balarabe Lawal, announced during the 2024 Budget Defense meeting with the National Assembly Joint Committee on Environment held at National Assembly Complex on Friday, December 15, 2023, that his ministry aims to address the shrinking Lake Chad. He outlined plans to draw water from larger water bodies in other countries into Lake Chad to combat its reduction. The minister emphasized that this initiative, alongside monitoring rainfall patterns to alleviate flooding, constitutes crucial project set for implementation in 2024.
To go through, Mr. Chairman. One of the issues that we're thinking of, apart from the issue of coastal erosions, gully erosions, the issue of pension floods all over the country. We're trying to come up with so many new structures of trying to address these issues. For example, we are looking at the issue of harvesting rain. We are talking with some areas that have done that successfully. So that is coming in this year's budget, that try to see that we trap the rain, instead of allowing the rain to flood and destroy our farms, destroy our houses, destroy our shops and all that. We are trying to find ways and means of trapping that rain in a way that it will not do that damage, so we can now transform that calamity into prosperity.
Furthermore, the minister highlighted the federal government's efforts towards rain harvesting and flood trapping as innovative strategies to transform flood disasters into opportunities for prosperity.
I think we're also looking at the issue of coastal erosions. We're looking at the issue of trying to re-engineer Lake Chad, for example. That has been going on for a long time. So this budget is looking categorically and trying to draw water from other parts of African countries to try to refill Lake Chad, Mr. Chairman. So these are the biggest issues that we're looking at, and that's why we need to have a lot of money in the area of climate change and in the area of agriculture. We have signed a lot of, we are going to sign a lot of other engagement with some international organizations, particularly FAO and the World Bank. Thank you.
Deputy Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Environment, Honorable Tesir Ogbo, echoed confidence in the impactful nature of the 2024 budget allocated to the Ministry of Environment, ensuring positive transformations in the lives of Nigerians.
So for us, and for me, and the Committee of Environment in the House of Representatives, our mission is to ensure that the budget we are going to pass today is a budget that will have an impact on our environment at the end of 2024.
And the Action Aid Nigeria, in collaboration with the Small Scale Women Farmers Organization in Nigeria, SWAFAN, one campaign, among others, have described the 362 billion naira budget for the agriculture sector as too little to address the many challenges facing it. The groups made these observations in Abuja during a press conference to draw government's attention on the need to adhere to the Maputo-Malabo commitment, which recommends 10% of nation's yearly budget to the agriculture sector. Contrary to this commitment signed by Nigeria, the group observed that the federal government had only allocated just 2% of its yearly budget to the agriculture sector in the past 7 years.
Percentage of agriculture sector allocation from the total federal government budget from 2017 to 2023. 362.9 billion. The budget for the agricultural sector is very low and represents only 1.32% of the total federal government budget. The budget allocated to the agricultural sector had not exceeded 2% of the overall budget for the past 7 years or more. Nonetheless, actual data has demonstrated that a sector production in terms of social benefit to society increased with the amount of resources allocated to it. Enough support for the agricultural sector needs to be prioritized in the national budget, since it is the sector that has the most potential to change the economy and employ the hordes of young people.
Despite these challenges, the group came up with some recommendations that will help government revamp the sector, create job opportunities, and ensure food security.
The allocations to post-harvest losses should urgently focus on supporting small cottage processing and storage facilities in communities based on different commodities to be owned, operated, sustained, and expanded by smallholder women farmers cooperatives. This will help address the challenges of post-harvest losses experienced by smallholder women farmers across Nigeria. The federal government should commit 10% of our annual budget to the agriculture sector to meet the 10% Maputo-Malabo declaration required to support at least 6% growth rate for the sector as postulated in the CADEC framework. and ensure timely and total releases of the agriculture budget towards food security, unemployment, reduction, and poverty eradication.
The allocation of 450 million naira for the purchase of operational vehicle warrants a detailed review of the type and the quantity required for effective operation. The National Agricultural Development Fund should conduct a comprehensive analysis for each transportation needs and consider cost-effective options, such as leasing to minimize expenses. A transparent breakdown of the vehicle type, quantity, vehicle type needed, and quantity aligned with the optimization function should be presented.
Another area of concern observed in the 2024 agriculture budget was the misappropriation of the Agricultural Development Fund. Aimed at addressing the emergencies in the sector, the ministry listed frivolous, unproductive items such as renting of building, staff cars, and buses purchases rather than core needs of the sector.
We run a risk for those that does not know the head and tail, to just come and decide what the fund should be. The fund is meant to put in more funding for agriculture sector in key areas where there are urgent need and where gaps exist. For instance, one of the budget was saying 250 million or so for research and so on. There are many researches in terms of gaps in productivity and so on. So that's why we are saying that such an amount should actually be removed. Let the fund consult research agencies and institutions that already have those researches. You can't be telling us about researching about best practice for productivity in Nigeria. We don't need that kind of budget line.
The House of Representatives Committee on Hydrological Services has criticized the National Hydrological Service Agency, NISA, for not fully paying for uncompleted but ongoing multi-billion naira contact projects in the 2023 fiscal year. The committee, chaired by Honorable Pascal Agbodike, criticized the agency's implementation of the 2023 Appropriation Act and accused it of extra budgetary spending.
We must not pass everything that comes from the executive. It is not true. It's not a must. It is our duty to look at the budget line by line and do the needful, that which will be for the interest of Nigeria. It's the reason we are all elected. We are privileged to see ourselves here as honorable members. If any agency is not getting it right, it is our duty to note it and direct them to do the needful for the good of our country. And we must be patriotic in whichever thing we are doing. I look at it as not being a deliberate mistake. I see it as an oversight.
Why will you pay a company ahead of a certificate tendered by the company for payment? It's misappropriation. So, sir, we have to have this detail. Company A was awarded XY on so-so-so date and was paid XY on so-so-so date, XY on so-so date, XY on so-so date. Now the organization is owing the contractor X figure. I hope you got what I'm saying. It's simple. Present it on Monday so that chairman may not be late in submitting his report to the appropriation committee, because any attempt, it was the president that put us on this high jump to complete the budget process. Am I lying? To complete the budget process before December ending, so that we can maintain the budget cycle of January to December. If your agency alone cannot delay the directives or change the directives of Mr. President.
NISA Director General Engineer Clement Nze informed the Accountant General of the Federation about unspent funds for outstanding projects in 2022 appropriation. The AGF responded that the money was returned in 2023 to ensure the completion of the projects.
Our appropriation was 433,962,977 naira only. That was what was appropriated. The amount released is the same amount that had been released. The same 493,962,977 naira. Amount utilized is the same value. Then maybe I have to explain. Now, starting from 2023, there was a change in the way of processing payment to contractors or capital projects. What is called cash management plan. In the cash management plan, you execute projects, you forward to the Accountant General of the Federation.
If you do not take care of the environment, it will fight back in different forms. Hence, the need for all hands to be on deck to protect it. This advice came up during a cleanup exercise at the Alpha Beach in Lagos. Residents were charged on the need to ensure a clean environment and proper waste management, which will go a long way to protecting not just the health of the earth, but humans in general.
Trash left on the beach is not just unattractive. It can wash back into the water and create safety hazards for visitors and aquatic life. From oceans to lakes to rivers, organizing a beach cleanup is a wonderful way to do good while also enjoying the beauty of the ocean. So for these volunteers, the assignment is simple. If they clean up the beach, they are preserving the aquatic life and also the future generations. Nigeria is estimated to generate about 2.5 million tons of plastic waste annually. Plastic accounts for 15% of the total waste generated in Lagos State. Olakbeju Ibekwe is passionate about the health of the environment. Her foundation has over time organized sensitizations such as this to change the narrative of endangerment of the environment. Ibekwe speaks on the dangers of plastic pollution as she hints that this cleanup is holding simultaneously across 27 other states.
We live at a time that it's getting increasingly scary, that if we do not take care of the environment, it's going to fight back. And this is in different forms. Today we're at Alpha Beach, and we've been reliably informed that just some time ago there was an ocean surge that really made residents to flee this area. This has been ongoing for a while. It is time for everyone to be intentional about protecting the environment. So what you are doing whenever you throw plastic away carelessly or do not manage plastic properly is that you are creating a hazard that can live well beyond your time. That is why it is important for us to manage our plastic properly.
For the state government, effective collaboration with relevant stakeholders is a sure way to go to sustaining the environment. Other stakeholders are unanimous that cleaning up of the environment, including the beaches, should be domesticated so it will not be an occasional habit.
We know the challenges we have with our environment, waste management issues, pollution issues, and the likes. Abuses, contraventions that has really put the entire society or environment in a big mess. So we cannot but collaborate from the Ministry of Environment. We cannot but collaborate with responsible agencies and bodies that are willing to come up with initiatives that help us, set the damages on the reverse.
I think we need to make it cultural. We need to make it a habit. First, to stop littering the environment with all kinds of refuse and make it a point of duty to clean, to join the cleaning. Not only when we have special events and activity like this, but periodically, because it's in the interest of everyone.
We don't just do it one-off, we do it very consistently. I recall that sometimes this year we were also at the Elegushi Beach, and we had that very event, which was also very colorful, and we also cleaned up that beach. And this is one of so many of the auditions that is happening. Again, if you want to look into the entire global environmental impact or the importance across, the SDG goals, this is one of the importance is keeping our environment very clean.
Through this regular cleanup exercise at the beach, Olapeju and her foundation has succeeded in reducing poverty and producing an alternative source of income for the women and the youths involved by picking up and selling plastic wastes. Justin Akadomi, Plus TV News, Lagos.
Attaining the age of 60 is a milestone and worth celebrating. No wonder friends, relatives, loved ones, and colleagues traveled far and wide to celebrate with Professor Adenike Omotunde Boyo as she joined the group of sexagenarians in grand style. Plus TV News correspondent Lovie Kukoyedokum reports that one word that resonated throughout the celebration was that Professor Boyo is dependable. The report.
It was a celebration of an icon, academic, a visionary, mentor, beloved mother, and a wife, Professor Adenike Omotunde Boyo. All roads led to the Nashville School Hall, where the 60th birthday celebration kicks off with a special Thanksgiving service. Titled Gift of Gratitude, Jesus Prescription, the Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, LASU, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, who doubles as a preacher, took a homily from the book of Psalm 90, verse 12.
The word of God is art. We have numbered our days, and our sister has numbered her days. Today is her 60th year on earth.
Elegantly dressed in a well-tailored traditional Yoruba Iro and Buba attire, Professor Adenike Boyo, flanked by her husband and son, joyfully sang and danced unto the Lord who has brought her thus far. It was indeed a day of honor, tributes, and accolades.
I feel so great. I just want to thank God for the opportunity He has given me to still live. Because I've been a time I've been at the...
Professor Boyo means different things to different people. To several people, the celebrant is an unassuming personality with an enduring aura who is dedicated to duty and cheerfully achieving results. To her family, she is an incomparable wife and a mother in a million.
Everything a man likes about a woman, you always find in her, more gentle, more quiet, motherly, So, and the most important thing in her is her energy.
Honestly, perseverance, hard work, trying to be the best out of everything you do. I think that has been my mom, and also putting God first in everything you do. That has been my mom's motto, and I've also taken it upon my life, and I've seen it work magic for me.
And to her church members, she is a true follower of Christ.
Oh, she's a wonderful woman, caring,
lover of God. She's down to earth, very humble. In fact, I lost of words.
Very unassuming, committed to God, faithful to God, diligent in the things of God. Without being noticed, she doesn't want anybody to notice her. She deliberately run away from it.
The Vice Chancellor of LASU, Professor Olatunji Bello, is the celebrant's immediate boss. She described the celebrant in one word.
Well, she's somebody that is visionary, dependable, loyal to a fault sometimes, and prayerful. My prayer partner. We do things so many things together. But when you want an ally, somebody you can.
Professor Boyo delightfully cut her birthday cake to the cheer of those present. Love Ikuku Oyedokun, Plus TV News.
The Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria, in partnership with federal government agencies, is providing support to victims of human trafficking through the Symbols of Hope project, an initiative of the Lutheran World Federation. Plus TV Emmanuel Ihijene completes the report.
Symbols of Hope Initiative, a non-governmental organization, has been working to help Nigerian youths who have been victims of human and drug trafficking due to ignorance and desperation. The initiative, which began in 2017, covers 3 African countries, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, and Nigeria, and has also been supported by Reverend Emmanuel, the Country Director and the Bishop of the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria.
Symbols of Hope Project is a diaconal arm of the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria. It is an initiative of the Lutheran World Federation, currently implementing in 3 different African countries, in Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe. Basically, the project aims at providing some livelihood support to return migrants and survivors of human trafficking. In a way, we do a lot of advocacy to internally displaced persons and vulnerable young Nigerians as well. The essence of this is to bring together all hands on deck to support or complement the efforts of the government in contributing our own quota for national development and supporting to make a better Nigeria.
For the returned migrants, we felt it is something that will really help these young people that thought there's a greener pasture on the other side. Having gone through certain situations and they are back, and the church felt they could be a target because these are young people, these are young minds, and these are people that have a lot of future, and allowing them or leaving them just to be wasted like that doesn't make sense. It is better and it is good for us to help them, reintegrate them into the society, and also empower them to begin another new life after losing hope through the situation they have gone through in life.
Symbols of Hope Project partners with federal government agencies for advocacy and awareness campaigns, sharing experiences with beneficiaries and offering advice for young vulnerable Nigerians who prefer nurturing abroad.
This human trafficking is everywhere. Everywhere. You just have to be careful. You just have to be careful out there. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You are old, does not. You are not an exemption. Everybody is a target. Just watch out. They will tell you you go there in a short period of time, you make money. It's not true. It's not true. The grass is green where you water it. The grass is green. I know Nigeria is hard for everybody, but the grass is green where you water it. That's what I would say. There's no shortcut to success. There's no shortcut to success. Yes.
A lot of people came back from this journey and they started smoking, started drinking. A lot of people have really lost themselves. But with programs like this, it helps you as a man, as a woman, to actually know that people still care. So if this program can, they can keep it up, it will definitely help a whole lot of people. I can tell you for free that I almost ended all at one point. Because I spent almost 2.5 years in Libya, and I spent almost 1 year in prison, and I was eating once in a day. and it really affected me. And when I came back, because my mom felt I was dead, before I came back, I lost my mom. So, and I was still alive. So, in fact, it even increased the stigma of how the things that happened to me over there. And my younger ones, you see some of them looking at me as if maybe I was the cause of the death. So it really affected me.
Since 2017, over 2,500 returnees have benefited from the initiative, urging the government to create an environment to discourage the Japa syndrome among the country's youth.
Still ahead, Madagascar president starts new term amid opposition boycott. Details from Reuters. Stay with us.
An African girl somewhere is sitting at home, accompanied by dreams that seem so far away. Africa is one of the continents with the highest out-of-school percentage in education, and girls are at an early disadvantage. The sub-Saharan Africa records about 18 million out-of-school girls. This gender gap extends to the tech space with a projection of only a 33% global female workforce representation in tech firms for 2022. Let us help change the stories and numbers. Africa Agility's Project Train a Girl campaign is working to help train African girls in tech. You can donate as little as $2 or 2,000 naira to help a girl in tech get her heels in the door. Visit www.africaagility.rallyup.com/PTAG to donate.
Other parts of Africa, President Andry Rajoelina took the oath in a packed stadium on Saturday to start a new term as Madagascar's leader, rebuffing an opposition boycott and international concerns over the island's future. Demonstrations were banned in the capital, Antananarivo, for 5 days ahead of Saturday's ceremony.
The election in Madagascar was a testimony to the democratic maturity of our nation. The process took place in serenity, in a peaceful and exemplary manner. It is a strong signal of the Malagasy people's desire to move forward in continuity, in an environment of peace and stability. Despite the challenges that have stood in our way over the last 5 years, the pandemic, the drought, the devastating cyclones, and even the low blows and political betrayals, we have moved forward, built and constructed, but above all created infrastructures close and useful to the population in all districts that had never been carried out in Madagascar.
The Economic Community of Central African States has maintained the suspension of Gabon, a country suspended following the overthrow of President Ali Bongo Ondimba by the military in August. The suspension was imposed after the transitional period, which ended the Bongo dynasty and led to condemnation from Western capitals. The suspension was maintained until constitutional order is restored. General Brice Oligui Nguema, who took power in August, has met with all ECOWAS member countries' leaders except for Angolan President João Lourenço. And meanwhile, Somalia has been admitted as the 8th member state of the East African Community, EAC, following approval at a leaders' summit in Tanzania. The EAC, a trade bloc and customs union, has faced criticism for its rapid expansion and stifling free trade. Critics also accuse the bloc of approving the Democratic Republic of Congo's membership, which remains at war. And from news outside Africa, Israeli forces have launched attacks on Khan Younis in the south of Gaza, leaving many dead. Qatar has confirmed the talks are ongoing to evaluate a new truce. At least 18,787 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 7, following Hamas' attack on Israel. Al Jazeera journalists Sema Abudaga and Well Dado were targeted by a drone strike, which Abu Dhaga died after paramedics were prevented from reaching him. And also 3 Israeli hostages killed mistakenly in Gaza by Israeli forces were shirtless, and one of them was holding up a white flag, according to an initial inquiry into the incident. A military official said the incident took place in an area of intense combat where Hamas fighters operate in civilian attire and use deception tactics, as the Israeli official says on Saturday.
The IDF troops mistakenly identified 3 Israeli hostages as a threat. As a result, the troops fired toward them and they were killed. During searches and checks in the area in which the incident occurred, a suspicion arose over the identities of the deceased. Their bodies were transferred to Israeli territory for examination, after which it was confirmed that they were 3 Israeli hostages. This is a sad and painful event for all of us, and the IDF bears responsibility for everything that happened. We started investigating the incident immediately. This is a tragic incident, which took place in a combat zone where the fighters encountered many terrorists in the last days and today and fought hard battles. We believe that the 3 Israelis either escaped or were abandoned by terrorists who held them captive, and over the last few days, or maybe today, we still don't know these details and these facts. They have reached the point they have reached. IDF expresses deep sorrow over the tragedy and participates in the family's mourning.
Up next, federal government and NPCL Petroleum Resources Ministry secure judgment over oil mining leases. That's a business news. Stay with us. And in business news, the federal government and Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited have secured a landmark judgment over oil mining leases formerly operated by EDEX. The Federal High Court in Abuja struck out Kestec Engineering Limited lawsuit, describing it as incompetent. The court ruled that Kestec's case lacked merit due to their failure to fulfill the signature bonus requirement, rendering it frivolous in law. The court also found that Kestec failed to join necessary parties to the suit, resulting in an abuse of the court process. Meanwhile, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Anite, has called for the automation of export permit issuing processes at the oil and gas stakeholders meeting in Abuja. The meeting aims to foster growth in the sector by easing time-consuming administrative processes and promoting the speedy return of investment. The Central Bank of Nigeria's Director of Trade and Exchange, Dr. Hassan Mahmood, emphasized the importance of collaboration in the development of the oil and gas sector.
It was a very fruitful discussion. We resolved a lot of the issues and the obstructions to service delivery in that sector. And we've, at the end of the day, resolved to, one, automate the sector, especially with regard to export permits. We've all agreed to have a single integrated platform across all the ministries to improve the process. And we also discussed on the need to have a backward integration program to support the industrialization in that sector, especially in the area of petrochemical development and refining.
In the discussions, we also stressed the need for emphasize the criticality of this sector, particularly concerning central bank in terms of FX inflows. This is the most, the highest inflow source that we have, and there's a need for us to provide that platform for them to be able to bring in those inflows. The minister spoke about export repatriation. That is very critical, and then the backward integration such that it's sustainable.
All the issues around delay in the issuance of export permits, repatriations of proceeds and all sorts. So we all agreed to collaborate together to move the country forward, to move the industry forward, so that at the end of the day, this country will be better for all of us to be in.
Up next is entertainment news. Stay with us.
Comic actor John Okafor, aka Mr. Ibu, who had one of his leg amputated weeks ago, has also undergone another surgery. Sources told Vanguard that he has undergone another surgery, cutting off part of the same leg that was initially amputated last month. His health is said to have degenerated to the point that he hardly talks again. He revealed that he has approved the sum of $250,000 to be sent to the Aligning Actors account from the AGN Trust Fund, which according to him may not be enough, following Munago's record with the Guild HMO and insurance policy. Nigerian artist Davido is set to perform for the first time at New York City's legendary Madison Square Garden on April 17, 2024. The epic Madison Square Garden show will be followed by a performance at Montreal's Place Bell on April 19 and a highly anticipated finale in Orlando's additional Financial Arena on April 24th. Davido declared his excitement, saying, 7 years ago, I walked past Madison Square Garden and looked at it and said, we are going to come back and shut this down. So to be here now, able to play Madison Square Garden in New York, one of the first cities and fans to embrace my music at this iconic venue, it's a dream come true. French actor Matthew Perry died as a result of the acute effect of ketamine, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner offices said Friday. Perry, who played Chandler Bing on the hit TV sitcom from 1994 to 2004, died at the age of 54, having struggled for decades with addiction and related serious health issues. Perry was found unconscious in a hot tub at his house in Los Angeles on October 28. First responders were unable to revive him and an initial post-mortem proved inconclusive pending a toxicology report. Doctors and veterinarians often employ ketamine as an aesthetic, and researchers explore it as a treatment for depression. On the ground, users take it illicitly for its hallucinogenic effects. Hollywood actor Darius McRae has been arrested again for failing to pay child support. The Family Matters star, who is dad to 2 daughters and 1 son, was booked on November 27th on a felony count of failure to pay child support. Court documents showed that he had an outstanding of $52,788 million as of March 12, 2019. He pleaded not guilty at his arraignment, and the judge set his bond conditions at $13,197 million, ruling that it would be monitored by a GPS device.
And now the main news again. Aiyedatiwa has frozen local government accounts. Osinbajo, Amechi, Yerima orders have dropped their ambition floating support forum for Tinubu. How do we do? And Israel is keeping pressure on Gaza as Qatar confirms truce talks. That's the news now. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limix on limix.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Destiny Momo. Many thanks for watching. Have a beautiful night rest.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
I actually woke up today on a philosophical mood, thinking about the essence of life. I guess a lot of the happenings in the past week messed up my mind pretty much. So I'm asking, when you are at the place that I am at the moment, especially as a Christian, and you're asking what is life all about, what do you do, John?
I don't know, looking at you, you don't look like somebody who's been asking questions. You actually took me off guard right there, Helen. There's so much unlike you. I mean, the deep reflection, that you've talked about is something that's key. But don't we all find ourselves in this place from time to time? I believe it's a good thing. And it means we are alive to the reality of existence. So, my dear, you're in a good place.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's so reassuring, John. Thanks. So if anyone is asking questions about the issues of life, just like I am, then this program is specifically designed for you today. I'm Omaheli Nodele, and I feel so blessed to be of service to you right now.
And I'm Chizoba Mofavor, your host on Culture Conversation segment. Indeed, we have a very good show for you today. All I can say is you are never ever alone in that place of deep reflection, that place of coming to your own space or into your own person. And today we get to talk with people who have been there and are happy and fulfilled survivors.
Survivors.
I'm John Sanaya. Be sure to stay with us till the show is over today, because our plan is to help you become a better and stronger you.
Exactly. And so we take a breather just about now so we can get you and every member of the family and your friends, wherever you are, comfortable, so that we can do this show together. When we return, we will reveal more of the content, the nitty-gritty of today's outing. It's Today with John and Helen live on Plus TV Africa. Please don't go away.
Thanks for being there. This is Today with John and Helen on Plus TV Africa. Now, have you ever tried putting yourself in the place of a sexually abused person, especially a child?
And has it occurred to you why some people will go to every length to put a smile on the faces of many others, while some other persons are committed to dehumanize, people around them? Today's show will avail you of some fresh insights into this area.
And of course, our first guests, our first two guests actually, young and beautiful. Yeah. And I'm